platforms. So let's get started. Please don't forget to like this live stream. So first of all, so let's start the reading. Type of remote sensing. Remote sensing means collecting information about the earth or any object on the earth without touching it directly. Remote sensing means collecting information about the earth or any object on the earth without touching it directly. Remote sensing means collecting information about the earth or any object on the earth without touching it directly. We get this information from a distance without any physical contact with the object. Based on these characteristics, remote sensing is divided into four different types. These types are explained below. Remote sensing means collecting information about the earth and or any object without directly or physically contact with it. We get this information from a distance without any physical contact with the object. Based on its characteristics, characteristics, remote sensing is characteristics divided into four different types. Platform-based remote sensing. 1. Space-borne remote sensing. According to the platform-based remote sensing, first is space-borne remote sensing. First is space-borne remote sensing. So now we can write it on a notebook. First is the character on the base of their characteristics. Okay. So on the base on their characteristics, on the based on the based of based on the based of the platform, remote sensing types are three types. Okay. First is space-borne. Space BORNE borne remote sensing. Okay. The second is space airborne BORNE remote sensing. Third is ground base remote sensing. Okay, spaceborne, airborne, and ground based. Okay, so there are three types of remote sensing: spaceborne, airborne, and ground based. Spaceborne, BORNE remote sensing definition. Okay, so the definition is the spaceborne remote sensing means collecting information using sensor placed on or mounted 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 mountain mounted placed on placed spaceborne remote sensing MEN means collecting information using sensor placed in placed on satellites in space is a line, golden line. Okay, these satellites take image and data large areas like countries, ocean, and whole Earth. These satellites, এই স্যাটেলাইটগুলি, তাহলে এইগুলি হচ্ছে তাহলে THAC, these LLITE, these satellites are satellites takes images or data of large areas like country, ocean, and whole Earth. Okay, so it is mainly used for weather study. It is study environmental monitoring, mental monitoring, and disaster management. Okay, so spaceborne remote sensing means collecting information using sensor placed on satellite in space. This satellite takes image or data of large area like countries, ocean, and whole Earth. It is mainly used on weather study, environmental monitoring, and disaster management. The second is airborne remote sensing. Airborne remote sensing means collecting information sensing means collecting information using sensors placed on satellite in air, placed on satellite can have placed on airplanes, planes, drones, helicopters, etc. It's given very clear and detailed image of small areas. It gives us a very clear clear and detailed image. DTAILED, detailed image of small area. AREAS. It's used for mapping and land survey and city planning. It used for mapping, city planning, and city planning and land survey. Okay, so its uses. No. Based on the source of energy. First, based on the plus remote sensing type. Okay, so first we get the type of remote sensing, and then we can separate it according to their source of energy. So first is based on platform based remote sensing, platform ORM base sensing. It's three type: space borne, PORNE, second airborne, uh, ground based. The three types. Second is based on the source of energy. Two types: active remote sensing and passive. Okay, so active remote sensing can use, this is use sensor does not produce, same to sense.